Today, guys, in CAD 108, this class, what I'd like to cover with you is some more of the surveying equipment, but this is not the typical stuff that you would see every day. Like if you see a surveying crew on the side of the road, you're probably not going to see a lot of this stuff, or you may see it and you might not even realize, what it is. So I want to cover the stuff, and if you want to take notes, if you want to label this session, you could call it things to put in your surveying bag. And so the first thing I would like to show you is my surveying bag, right? This is just a standard, nothing fancy surveying bag. It's got a bunch of pockets to put different items down in. The next thing that you really need to think about is safety, and that is why I've got this guy on. Surveyors really have a dangerous task sometimes, especially if you see them on the side of the road. Sometimes in the middle of the road, they really take surveying. They have to survey areas that can be dangerous to go into. So you want to be visible. So a surveyor's best friend, he needs to have his vest, his reflective vest. The other thing, you want to grab a hard hat. Make sure you have your hard hat. The neat thing about a surveying bag, you can a lot of times you'll just leave it filled. If I know at the end of the day that I've used so much of one item, like a steak, for instance, if I've used 40 steaks today and I have 5 or 6 left in my bag, I can fill it up before I leave for home, and the next day I'm ready to go. So it's something you can leave and have available. That's all on your time management, your management skills to be ready to go. The next piece of equipment that we're going to need is a field book, right? That's one piece of equipment that you really never want to leave home without, because all or most of your work is going to be recorded in here. You're going to use this some way, shape, form, or fashion. Right along with that is going to be a mechanical pencil to draw in, to write in. The next thing I want to show you guys are different types of survey points. Okay, so a really common one is a PK nail. You can tell it's a PK nail because right on the top, can you guys see that pretty good, pretty clear? Do you see the PK in it? They're just a thick shanked nail with an intended indentation, in the middle of its head. You drive these into the ground to mark a precise point. You'll use these in concrete. You have to drill a hole, obviously, for it. You can put them in blacktop. A lot of times you don't even have to drill a hole because they're tough enough to just drive it straight in the blacktop. Now, depending on the type of point that you're trying to set with this nail, it's going to be, how you put it in the ground. If you just push it in or nail it into the dirt, that's going to be a temporary point. You're not going to want to use that for a long time. And actually, you're probably not even going to use a PK nail. You're going to use something more like just a regular nail, okay? And you can see the difference in them. Here's a little bit bigger one. This is just a big nail where I would drive this in the ground. The length is going to give it a little bit more stability to last for a little while, compared to this doesn't have to be as big because you're putting it in something more permanent. Another very similar nail is this guy. And this is a mag nail. Now, the difference in the two are the company that makes them, the material. Some of the material is different. Some people really believe that a mag nail is the new best type of nail to use. It's replaced the PK nail, which is just an older nail. It's been around for a long time. But these are designed to last longer, to be more permanent, to withstand a lot more pressure, to be tough, to be driven into harder objects. So they're very similar. It's just different companies. A mag nail, same as the PK nail, it can be all different lengths, different sizes, and you can use that. Another type of point that you might see is a hub and tack. That's just another point. And what you're going to use there is going to be a hub, which is just a 2 inch by 2 inch or square stake, right? It's square. And then you're going to take one of these little bitty guys. This is a tack. Now it doesn't have any kind of markings on top of it. It's just the indention or the actual point like you would have in a PK nail. You'll drive that in the top, and there's already a hole here, but you drive that in the top, right? And that would be your survey point. That's same thing as the indention here. That would, those are just different types of points that you can set. So, and it all depends on the job you're doing, okay, as to what type of point you wanna use. A wooden stake and a hub and tack like that is not going to be a long-term point, but it may be more permanent than something like this. So this would be more, let's say we were doing a job and we were going to finish in a day or two, right? Most of the time in a day, we're just going to use a nail in the ground, be good to go. It doesn't have to be precise for very long at all. This might be a job that it doesn't have to be a permanent point, but I need it to stay there a little bit longer. So I may use something like this. This is a hub. A hub is just the stake, the 2 inch by 2 inch stake. And this is the tack. When they're put together, it's a hub and tack. And now to show you what a hub and tack, a finished hub and tack would look like, right here. Can you guys see that? You've got your flagging, which is another thing. Never leave home without a roll of flagging, okay? Because, and the reason being, so right here, if I put my nail, and I know this one's just sitting there, but it's going to look the same. If you're out in the woods, right, and both of these points are in the ground, you imagine brush and everything around, which one can you see better, right? Clearly, the one with the flagging on it. Orange stands out a lot better than blue. So having multiple colors of flagging is important. But then to think also, use colors that if you got to find this pretty quick, right? Or you got to find it a bunch of times, you might use something like orange.